Jeff Sessions resigned from his post as Attorney General. Now some are concerned about the impact on the Mueller investigation.
Plus, we spoke to local groups celebrating last night's election results and already preparing for 2020.
Annenberg TV News is next.
Live from USC, you're watching Annenberg TV News.
USC's undergraduate student government vice president has been relieved of his duties for now. Good evening, I'm Colin Taylor.
And I'm Taylor Elliott. The Senate voted to censure Blake Ackerman while they investigate screenshots tying him to comments about hazing. Senators say they received an anonymous email with attached screenshots from Facebook. The screenshots allegedly show Ackerman making comments which support the hazing of fraternity pledges. According to a senator, the email was sent from Trojans for Transparency, who claim they sent a similar email to different people last year.
Because they felt like not enough tangibly had been done when they first came out with this information last year.
Ackerman told Annenberg Media, quote, "I saw in the email sent to the Senate that there has been an SJAX case filed against me. I have not received notification of an investigation, but I have been advised to refrain from publicly engaging until I receive notice of an investigation process." We talked with students about Greek life and the issue of hazing.
Definitely he should be investigated because hazing is something that's not right anywhere in the world, even back from the place where I belong, that is India.
Greek life being such a big part of campus life, we definitely want that section of campus to be a safe environment and to be an enjoyable environment for everyone who participates in it.
His actions should be investigated more than he himself, because there's always a background story to it and there is motivation behind his actions.
Senators say if a formal complaint is filed, they will be appointing a committee to investigate, but they don't know yet what that will look like. U.S. Attorney General Jeff Sessions has resigned. His exit from the Trump administration comes more than a year after he recused himself from the Russia investigation. Sessions received applause as he left the Justice Department today. In a one-page letter, Sessions said his resignation came at the request of the president. Trump has publicly attacked Sessions for his decision to recuse himself, which led to the appointment of special counsel Robert Mueller. President Trump took to Twitter today to announce a new acting attorney general and thank Sessions for his service. Trump made no mention of the resignation at a press conference this morning. Matthew Whitaker has been named the new acting attorney general. He was a U.S. attorney in southern Iowa before becoming Sessions' chief of staff in 2017. Whitaker has also worked as a political commentator and has been critical of the Russia investigation.
Protecting Mueller and his investigation is paramount. Any attorney general, whether this one or another one, should not be able to interfere with the Mueller investigation in any way.
With Sessions gone, Whitaker will oversee the Mueller investigation. President Trump announced he will nominate a permanent acting attorney general at a later date.
The midterm elections are over, but there are still races that are too close to call. But there is a clear winner for the race of California, governor. Democrat Gavin Newsom beat out Republican John Cox with 59% of the votes to 40%. Newsom had this to say at last night's victory party.
I've listened and I've learned from Californians of every walk of life, because I know that starting tomorrow, the hard work truly begins. But tonight,
one of California's congressional race is too close to call. In Orange County's 40th Congressional District, Democrat Harley Rauda holds 50.7% of the votes against Republican Dana Rohrabacher's 49.3%. As for House winners, here in California, Democrat Katie Hill beat out Republican incumbent Steve Knight with 51.3% of the votes in the 25th District. In the 39th in Orange County, Republican Young Kim beat out Democrat Gil Cisneros with 51.3% of the votes. In the 45th District, Republican Mimi Walters beat Democrat Katie Porter with 51.7% of the votes. And in the 49th, Democrat Mike Levin has beat Republican Diane Harkey 53 to 46%. Taking a look now at some of the most talked about propositions on the ballot, Californians voted against Prop 6, so the gas tax will stay. Voters said no on 8, so dialysis charges will not be regulated, and voters also said no on 10, so we will continue to limit rent control laws. And 59% voted in favor of Prop 7, so now California lawmakers are free to change in daylight savings times. We talked about the election results with student orgs.
If we take a couple of the Orange County seats, we'll have like a plus 37 gain in the House, which by any means is a wave, and I'm happy for that. We can finally see Trump accountable. I'm of course saddened that there are a couple of our red state Democrats have lost their races, and all the best for them, but I'm happy that we took the House.
We thought the results were pretty solid for us. We were expecting to lose the House, and we didn't lose it by as much as some people thought we would, and we actually gained even stronger control in the Senate.
On Capitol Hill, now the House has flipped to a Democratic majority. Former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi could be back as leader once again.
The American people want to put an end to unchecked GOP control of Washington, restoring again the checks and balances envisioned by our founders.
President Trump clearly had a different attitude towards the elections, but is optimistic for the future.
I really believe that we have a chance to get along very well with the Democrats. And if that's the case, we can do a tremendous amount of legislation and get it approved. I really believe there's going to be much less gridlock.
There are nearly 1 million ballots that still need to be counted, and vote-by-mail ballots will continue to be accepted through Friday as long as they were sent out by Tuesday.
A record number of women have been elected this year. 96 women to the House of Representatives, 12 women to the U.S. Senate, and 9 women will serve as governor. Club members at USC talked today about the importance of exercising one's right to vote.
We had many opportunities to knock on doors for people running like Katie Hill, etc. I think for me, especially as I advance my college career, it's not about getting my own voice heard. It's about supporting institutions and resources that are elevating the voices of people who don't get heard.
Of the women elected, 100 were Democrats and 17 were Republican. Votes are still being counted tonight in the LA County Sheriff's race. The results are still too close to call. If current Sheriff McDonald loses his seat, he'll be the first sheriff in a century to lose a bid for re-election. His opponent, retired Sheriff's Lieutenant Alex Villanueva, has a narrow lead with 50% to 49.9%. The two are separated by under 5,000 votes. But there are thousands of votes left to be counted. Villanueva spoke today, confident he's the right choice for sheriff.
People want to see new leadership and new vision for what public safety should be for Los Angeles County, and I'm fortunate they believe that I can actually do that. I understand I'll be the first Puerto Rican sheriff in the history of the country. That's never happened.
McDonald posted this message to Facebook this morning, writing, quote, "I'm optimistic about the hundreds of thousands of outstanding vote-by-mail and provisional ballots that have not yet been counted. The results may not be finalized until the end of the month."
LA residents are energized after last night's tight state and local elections. Annenberg Media's Joe Calabrese reports on how some groups are looking forward to 2020.
Chants of "When we fight, we win" echoed this morning through the offices of the Coalition for Humane Immigrant Rights of Los Angeles. Together with the LA LGBT Center, the group celebrated the Democrats taking control of the House.
I'm just very appreciative of our community in this moment and hopeful for the future.
2 California House representatives say the results provide a path for change.
But how different will it be now that we're in charge? Now we can bring up the hearing topics, the issues.
Issues like immigration are extremely important for Farhan Karal, who moved from Pakistan in 2004. Tuesday was his first time voting as an American citizen.
Once I gave my ballot, it was an awesome experience. They gave me a sticker, and this way I could really say that I made my voice heard. I was part of the solution. I was out there fighting for my rights.
While spirits are high at Shirla and the LA LGBT Center, one thing is clear: the work for the 2020 campaign begins now.
It's still an uphill battle. It's still difficult, but I have a lot of hope and momentum from this moment, and we just need to continue doing what we're doing.
Republican groups on campus agree that getting a head start on upcoming elections is smart.
It's just kind of going to show that we need to get on the ground as fast as we can, and we can't take anything for granted coming up.
While both sides are looking to use momentum in elections going forward, Karal says regardless of the outcomes, elected officials need to be held accountable. For Annenberg Media, I'm Joe Calabrese.
FBI agents raided the home and offices of the LA City Councilman Jose Huizar this morning. The FBI confirms warrants were served in multiple Los Angeles locations. Agents searched the councilman's offices in downtown LA and Boyle Heights and were seen carrying bags of evidence from the councilman's home. Huizar has represented Council District 14 since 2005. He's also accused in 2 lawsuits from former employees. FBI press relations sent Annenberg Media a written statement saying the FBI is executing a federal search warrant at an office inside Los Angeles City Hall. There is no threat to public safety, and no arrests are planned. Councilman Jose Huizar's attorney also released a statement saying, "We are assessing the situation and have no further comment at this time." Los Angeles City Council President Herb Wesson said the search came as a surprise and that he will cooperate with the authorities if asked.
High fire danger is coming later this week. We'll show you what steps to take to be prepared.
And President Trump's faced off with reporters at a briefing this morning. We spoke to one journalist about the dangers of fake news language.
Plus, I spoke with the stars of the new film, The Nutcracker and the Four Realms, at its Hollywood premiere. Next.
We'd do anything for kids. Yet 1 in 5 children in the U.S. struggle with hunger. Help end childhood hunger near you. Learn how at feedingamerica.org.
Got a quarter? The news media is under fire yet again. President Trump snapped at journalists during a press conference this morning where he reacted to the midterm elections. The president particularly laid into CNN's Jim Acosta.
Honestly, I think you should let me run the country. You run CNN.
All right.
And if you did it well, your ratings would be much better.
If I may ask one other question.
I'll tell you what, CNN should be ashamed of itself having you working for them. You are a rude, terrible person. You shouldn't be working for CNN. When you report fake news, which CNN does a lot, you are the enemy of the people. Go ahead.
Journalist and former USC professor Judy Mueller addressed the impact of Trump's verbal attacks.
In this country, there are a lot of people who now believe that the news media are biased and don't tell the truth. That is terrifying because they are doing their job of confronting authority, asking tough questions on behalf of the people. But now a lot of the people don't believe they are telling the truth, and that is terrifying.
Also, when a female reporter of color asked the president about nationalists, Trump called the question racist. Well, Colin, I don't know about you, but I had to bring a sweater coming to class this morning.
Yep, I had to bring a jacket. Sammie, what should we expect this week?
Well, yeah, it's been definitely a little bit chilly going into this week as we approach further into fall and almost winter. And looking at today and the rest of the week, you can see it has been a little bit colder. It's only going to get colder as the week goes on, or stay the same, but not warmer, unfortunately. So keep bringing those sweaters. If we take a look on into tomorrow's forecast, we can see over in the inland area, it is a little bit warmer in the 70s, 75, which is nice, but if you move back on over to the valley and the coastline, it will be much chilly, or relatively the same. 76, 74, keeping it comfortable, but still kind of cold, not quite as cold as today as with the rest of the week will be. Anaheim, 80, so that's a little bit better there, but in the rest of the area, at USC especially, it will be 76. So keep on wearing those sweaters. Taking a look into the full forecast for the week, 68 throughout the week, 64 is a low on Saturday, and 70 on Veterans Day, which is Sunday. So again, dipping into the lower temperatures, but not too bad. And if you take a look at Thursday and Friday, you can see that there are weather alerts there. Right now we have red flag and wind advisory warnings in effect in LA and surrounding counties, both tomorrow and Friday, meaning that there's a high risk of wildfires. Affected counties include LA County, Ventura County, and Kern County, as well as the rest of the coastline and up in Northern California. The warnings come from a combination of low humidity, high winds, and warm temperatures, and they will be in effect from 10 a.m. tomorrow to 10 p.m. on Friday. To prevent the spread of wildfires, the California Department of Forestry and the Fire Protection suggest avoiding the use of gasoline-powered equipment, especially over dry grass, and ensuring that all campfires and grill fires are properly extinguished. They also suggest clearing a defensible space around all structures, removing dead vegetation and branches anywhere within 100 feet of the home. If you see a fire or any suspicious activity, make sure to report it and get yourself to safety. Okay. So hopefully there won't be any fires, but do you feel prepared if there are?
Oh, I feel very prepared. Thank you, Sammie. A pop star is the latest musician to be named Billboard's Woman of the Year. Plus, what stars of the new Nutcracker film are saying about diversity.
Entertainment reporter Brogan Kroener has the latest.
Thanks, Colin Taylor. Starting off today's entertainment news, Ariana Grande remains in the headlines, but this time it has nothing to do with her breakup. The Thank You Next singer is Billboard's 2018 Woman of the Year. Grande has been a centerpiece in the news over the past several months, and her album Sweetener topped the Billboard's 200 charts this year. So it's no surprise then that Ariana is receiving this honor. Billboard's VP of Content said that Grande's philanthropic work also made her the perfect candidate. Grande will receive the award at the 13th annual Woman in Music Dinner and Awards Gala on December 6th. Turning now from music to movies, The Nutcracker in the Four Realms is the first major holiday film to hit theaters, and Misty Copeland stars as the princess ballerina in this rendition of the popular ballet. I had the opportunity to cover the premiere and talk to the cast and crew about the film's inclusive diversity.
Your mother created our world. My mother made all of this.
From the sets to the costumes to the hair and makeup, it's very, very artistic and very beautiful, and it captures kind of the essence of what creating is.
And when it came to creating this film, diversity was at the forefront for producers.
I think we wanted to represent in our film the way that we want the world to look, which is all colors, nationalities, sizes, ages, everything.
If we see representation, there's so much more possibility for us. We can dream, we can feel like anything is possible.
I think it's really important because I was that kid, a long time ago. I was that kid that watched TV and that really saw people for who they were and what they did.
And Misty Copeland agrees. She is most excited about this idea of young children seeing people of color doing incredible things on screen.
It's just a beautiful thing to be a black woman playing, a ballerina in a Nutcracker Disney film, and that, it's going to become the norm. It's not going to be like, oh, that's a black dancer up there. It's like, oh no, that's what a ballerina looks like, and that's amazing.
The Nutcracker in the Four Realms is rated PG and is in theaters now. Colin Taylor, back to you.
Well, thank you so much, Brogan. Angel, what's going on in USC sports?
A lot going on tonight, folks. Tonight, I'll be joined by sports correspondent Cecil Hannibal to break down all things sports in the land of Troy. We'll have more on the USC men's and women's basketball teams as they both opened their seasons successfully last night at the Galen Center. And we're catching postseason fever here at USC as the #2 ranked women's soccer team opens postseason play this Friday. ATVN Sports is next.
Recently, our country has witnessed catastrophic devastation. Hurricanes and flooding have upended lives and livelihoods.
Across this great country, Americans have answered the call.
That special calling that compels us, when others are down, to step up and do whatever it takes.
America's at her best when, against all odds, we come together and lift each other up.
Please donate to oneamericaappeal.org. America needs you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Listen, I realize that I'm not perfect, but it all really started to change because you judge me for having a problem. No one is going to know that I need help. I need help. I know that no one is going to judge me for having a problem. I realize that I'm not perfect, but it all really started to change because you listen.
Bye-bye.
Hi. Hoping for a crisp breeze to help keep you alert. Oh, he took a sip of water too. That'll probably help. You were probably gonna turn down the radio too, so you could focus, right?
Probably okay isn't okay.
Right.
If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
I think the water line is what really drove it home. I blew on him.
And welcome back to ATVN Sports. I'm Angel Viscarra.
And I'm Cecil Hannibal. USC men's basketball kicked off their season last night against Robert Morris.
And before last night's ball game, Cecil, a lot of folks were thinking this season opener would be a blowout for the Trojans.
Yeah, the Trojans had a slow start in the first half. The first two possessions of the game were turnovers, and going into halftime, the Trojans were only ahead by 2 points, 38-36.
But then explosions happened. The Trojans exploded in the second half, going on an 18-2 run led by Shaquan Aaron and Kevin Porter Jr. Aaron finished the game with 20 points and 5 boards. Porter Jr. had 15 points and really looked great in his USC debut as the Trojans came away with the 83-62 victory.
After the game, we caught up with Aaron to talk about his ferocious dunk that ignited the Trojans' offense.
A dunk is very disrespectful to the opponent, and it brings we were at home, and it brings the crowd into the game. And right after that dunk, the crowd gave us another boost, another energy, and we just went on from there.
Very disrespectful indeed, Mr. Aaron. The Trojans are still without team captain Benny Boatwright back on the court as he's still healing up from a knee injury. USC's next game will be at home Sunday night against Vanderbilt.
And now let's bounce on over to the women's side of things. The USC women's basketball team came away with a 73-55 victory over UC Riverside in their season opener last night.
But head coach Mark Track knows there's room for growth going forward.
I was happy for our first game. You know, I thought we got some good points off the bat. I thought Jatavia Tapley did a good job. We got to improve. We got to improve on our passing. I don't know what were the rebounding numbers. We're regrowing process until we get to Texas A&M, and then we got to Texas A&M. Then we got to be ready to go.
Junior guard Mignon Moore led the women of Troy in scoring with 16 points last night.
Moore also reeled in 12 rebounds and dished 7 assists in the home victory over the Highlanders.
USC will take its first road trip this season, this Sunday, when it travels to play Long Beach State. The women of Troy will host UC Santa Barbara at the Galen Center next Thursday.
But now, Cecil, let's shift things on over to the pitch, a team deep in their season. Women's soccer in the Pac-12 is no joke. We know the Conference of Champions has 5 teams in the NCAA tournament with bids, and the women of Troy are making their 5th consecutive appearance.
We feel really good. I mean, we're really focused on the things that we control, which is preparing for every game like we would at 100%, making sure that we're focused on the details, and we feel with that it gives us the confidence to really go into the tournament strong.
The women of Troy are the 4th seed and are set to host Long Beach State this Friday. So, Angel, tell me, what can we expect in this year's tournament?
Well, I think USC is a team that has plenty of experience in the postseason. They've been there. They've done that back in 2016. This was a national championship winning team, and if it wasn't for being upset by Baylor last year, you could really say they'd be back-to-back champions at this point. But earlier in the year, a lot of tough overtime losses for this team that I think they've learned from, and I think they can make a deep run once postseason play comes around.
Well, the Trojans also received Pac-12 honors. Kaylee Collins is the Pac-12 goalkeeper of the year, and Penelope Hawking is the freshman of the year.
So we'll see if the women of Troy can bring home their 3rd national title in program history this postseason. But now let's switch things on over to men's water polo. A pair of giants in the world of collegiate water polo will be colliding this Saturday.
The number 1 ranked Trojans will be doing battle with the number 2 ranked UCLA. USC's season finale against the Bruins will be a big one, as it will decide who enters next week's MPSF tournament as the number 1 seed.
We chatted with USC freshman driver Nick Porter about how important this Saturday's matchup with UCLA is.
Number 1 versus number 2, so it's a pretty big game. We need to get a result to get a good seeding for the MPSF tournament, which is next weekend here. So, you know, Jovan and the coaching staff have really been drilling into us that this is probably our most important game of the season thus far. We really want the win, but then it's going to be looking ahead to the rest of the postseason and you know, achieving our goal of a national championship.
After playing in next week's MPSF tournament, USC gets a couple of weeks off before things really heat up.
There we go. NCAA championship play begins on December 1st as the Trojans look to clinch their 10th national title in school history. So as the postseason comes around, a lot of exciting times here at USC, but we'll toss it back to you folks with more news.
Thanks, Angel and Cecil. Diwali celebrations are underway.
And one city has broken a new record relating to the holiday. That's next.
Hey guys, Danny Trejo here. There was going to be a whole song and dance routine about how you should wait your turn to enter the train. But they got me, Danny Trejo, to talk to you instead. Look, when you don't wait your turn to enter the train, it's rude and potentially dangerous. And believe me, I know a thing or two about rude and dangerous. I'm Danny Trejo. Don't be like rude, dude. Be kind, like super kind. Excuse me.
I adopted Bento in 2010 from a shelter. As it turns out, we have very similar personalities. And this cat makes me make art because he's always motivating me to take pictures of him, to draw pictures of him. He just is motivating artistically. It's just that simple. Well, he's my best friend, but a lot of people know him as Keyboard Cat.
Today marks the start of the Diwali. 5-day festival is celebrated by Hindus, Sikhs, and Jains around the world each year between October and November. Millions of earthenware oil lamps called Diwalis will be lit to commemorate the holiday. Participants in the Indian city of Ayodhya broke a world record by lighting 300,152 at once.
I have lived in the Middle East before, and in India before, and of course in the United States, and everywhere it's extremely different. Diwali to me is Festival of Lights, but also being very close to my family.
Diwali is a Hindu festival celebrated every autumn. The oil lamps symbolize the light that protects them from the darkness. But thanks for watching Annenberg Media, or it's Annenberg TV News. My name is Colin Taylor.
And I'm Taylor Elliott. You can watch us on the web at uscannenbergmedia.com. Good night.
Oh.
The next 30 seconds can save you a lot of money. Just do your laundry in cold and stick to full loads. Auto-sleep your computers